Hey, everybody, it's Bingo Schmingo episode 2. Welcome aboard. I'm Alan Levine, Alan, and you are.
Susan Scibetta, SCI, not SCH.
And that ends our podcast for today. Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, nobody says ladies and gentlemen anymore. Have you noticed that?
No, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
people.
Oh, no. In the old days, ladies and gentlemen. Today it's, hey, guys. Just like Well, remember when you were in elementary school, the teachers would always say, and now, boys and girls,
Yes,
you always know that an elementary school teacher is out of touch. If they say boys and girls, no, it's hey, guys.
yes, you
Hey,
have to be very.
guys.
Yeah, well, we need to be very careful.
And so many things, so many different words and expressions that I use just because I'm used to them. People have no idea what I'm saying. No idea what I'm saying. So when I play the piano at senior residences, for example, they say things to me like, golly, and I go, golly, I remember hearing that word. Or they'll go,
Gee,
golly gee, or heavenly days, or things like that. Oh my goodness. Well, today we're going to talk about the importance of music and the effect that it has on seniors, particularly the older the seniors get, particularly in memory care. And if you saw our last podcast, Susan was a very wonderful activity director at a very wonderful senior residence in the state of Vermont. And in case you are watching this for the first time, I am the music side of things. Susan is the activity side of things. I am a composer and a pianist, and that's what I do, and that's how I contribute. And I play for seniors every day, sometimes 2 to 3 gigs a day. But Susan, I know that when you were an activities director and I would come in and play the piano, I know that you were excited about the reaction of the residents and
yep.
the changes that you perceived. What would you say are some of the changes that you saw in some of the people? Are there people, for example, who came alive, who started to become more animated when they had not been prior to that?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. We all know it's kind of you. I hear a song from the 80s that I haven't heard in 20 years, and it instantly rushes back to me, and I remember where I was when I heard it. Did I ever dance to it? Who was my boyfriend at that time? Was I with my best friend? It brings back memories that have been filed. I mean, we
Yeah.
all file memories, and when you have memory change, like with people with dementia or Alzheimer's, those moments are so special. And you see a nonverbal resident that even if they don't start singing the actual words, that they start tapping their foot or there's a huge smile. So absolutely, it's instantaneous, but also music is music, but music when you know your audience is very important, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
where what we do together as a collective business, you and me, Dan, that's what we touch on.
Well,
It is.
Susan, I've noticed that I catch myself looking down when I'm playing the piano sometimes.
Yeah.
I play by ear, so I don't have to look at the keys when I'm playing, but I look down. You may ask, why are you always looking down when you play? I'm looking to see whose feet are tapping.
Oh,
Really? I
right.
do that. I do that. And I look at people don't think I'm looking at them, but I see every smile. I see every time somebody starts going like this or like that or clapping their hand or mouthing the words. It's fascinating. It's a
You know,
study in psychology.
that's right. And the other thing, so as you said, that smile, tapping their feet, the other thing that I often saw were tears, but they weren't tears of being sad. had, they were remembering their wedding day because you played a song that was featured at their wedding. The emotions, be it a smile, a tapping of their foot, a tear in their eye, that's
Says a lot.
memories.
Says a
That
lot.
says a lot about the importance of music and having music that is based on the era that the seniors lived in.
You know,
So,
that's
so
very true. I remember not very long ago, a gentleman came up to me at the end of my performance, and I would guess he's probably about 74, somewhere in that ballpark. And he was crying. He was sobbing. He said, I lost my wife about 3 months ago. And the songs you played are the songs that we used to dance to
yeah,
and that she would love to listen to on the radio. And I can't thank you enough for playing them. And he is at every single performance that I do there
I
now.
love that.
They've moved him over to memory care, but he's still there. And when I play, he really brightens up and he walks in. I mean, you can tell he's having trouble walking now and he doesn't look that alert. But when I start playing, a smile, a very peaceful smile comes over his face. And it's just, I started playing at residences because I love music and I love to play for people, not realizing the profound effect it was going to have on the people I'm playing for.
Exactly. And it's so special. And the other thing is when you take music in July being Broadway bound, just also that era of music and experiences, even if they didn't see the actual Broadway play, but there's so many Broadway plays that were made into movies, The Sound of Music.
Or they just have the record, the
That's right.
soundtrack.
That's right.
Growing up, my
And
parents brought home lots of records of shows that I never saw, but I grew up with that music.
absolutely, My Fair Lady,
I mean,
Cats, The
oh,
King and I. It's and that's what you want. You want to do things
it's true.
that first off stimulate, that secondly is a sensorial experience. Hearing is number one. And it's absolute magic. And then you take the other end of the spectrum. You take a child and you bring forth music. You bring a teenager, you put music in front of them. You put a middle-aged person like me and you put music in front of me. And it's my era of music. And then the seniors. So it's special. And what you
Really.
do at these residents is special. You bring so much joy to them.
I know that
Yeah,
really is true. And they always, people come up to me at the end, you don't realize that this is the highlight of our day.
absolutely.
They come up to me all the time and tell me how important it is. And sometimes you don't realize how important this 1 hour of the day is in their
It's
waking hours.
very true.
But they look
Very, very
forward
true.
to it. And yeah, it's wonderful. Today's episode, incidentally, is brought to you by Theme Daze. Theme Daze, a whole new concept in activities and music for seniors. So, Susan,
Yeah.
when you see the families
Yeah.
of families of the residents who sometimes sit in on the concerts and hear them, do you see anything in particular with the families and how they either respond to the music or their feeling about their loved one being part of this?
Oh my gosh. I can think of so many times where we, at my facility, when you walked into the front door, you had the front desk and then the grand piano over here, which you play the baby grand, and then the living room. And we would have 30 residents, 40 residents all in this vicinity. And sometimes you would have just a surprise visit. And I can't even count them, how many times a resident's family would stand back and they would watch their loved one and tears would fill their eyes, and they saw their mother or their father mouthing the words to these beautiful songs, and you play the piano. It's not, there's some people who come in and they play the guitar and sing. What's really incredible to me is that, Dan, you would bring your talents there and you were on the piano. And just with that alone, you could have an advanced person with Alzheimer's dementia, and all of a sudden, every single word came out of their mouths. That's
Interesting.
profound.
Yeah, that is
And
profound.
it really is. So it shows, it always reinforced how, first off, how important music is. But secondly, that music doesn't have to be words. And sometimes, in my opinion, the music without words was, even for me, much more profound, because I would watch and document, because that was part of my job, what that music, what the response, especially with our residents with advanced stage dementia. And it just baffled me. I was like, wow, how is that in there still?
With
But
good
it is.
music, you
Yes.
don't need words. I mean,
That's,
lyrics are very important,
well, they are.
but
And they're
on the other
beautiful.
hand, music tells a story if it's played properly.
Absolutely. But what I think, what I'm really, not to you, Dan, but what I want to stress is that when we have these programs for these beautiful seniors, that it all doesn't have to fit in this certain box. It doesn't have to be, well, this is what's going to be successful. You know what? Anything sensorial, anything that is, you're seeing who your audience is, you're developing activities based on that. But that first, yeah, you have incredible music, incredible entertainers, but also that none of it fits it within a box.
No, it's
But
hitting their senses,
that's right.
which
It's
is why
very important.
smell-o-vision was such a very successful part of the film industry.
I don't know what that is.
It really wasn't, but it really it was fascinating to me. On my 16th birthday, my father brought a whole bunch of my friends and me into New York City to see Smell-O-Vision. It was a movie called Scent of Mystery, and there was a pipe in front of each seat that ran across the whole theater. And they would walk into, for example, they would be on a street in Japan, and you would smell like the restaurant food coming out. And they went into an oil factory. You could smell the oil, but it would blow in your face. But the reason the people reacted to it the way they did, at least when I was there, it was fascinating because you sensed, you took part in the sensory perception of what was going on, and you remember those smells. Just like when you remember music, you remember the times, and you
That's
remember
right.
the feelings, and you remember the thoughts you had, and they come back to you. And nostalgia is close to the heart. And
Very
that's what it's all about. It brings them back to a time when they weren't in a residence, too.
That's right.
That's the other thing. A lot of people, particularly if they're new to senior residences, they're afraid and they
Very
feel
true.
trapped and they feel trapped and they feel this is not my home. They can be in the most elaborate senior residence, but this is not where
They
they
still want to be
belong.
home. Yeah, they still want to be home.
And they hear a piece of music that reminds them of their loved ones, of their kids, of going to the beach, of driving on a day trip somewhere, taking a ride, or
A Sunday drive. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So I try to bring that to them whenever I play. I try to play songs that I think they will all remember. I kind of look at the crowd And each place is a little bit different.
Sure.
Some kind of skew a little younger, some are a little older, but hey, I'm a senior. I kind of know the music that I react to. So it's really interesting. So we're going to take a little break here for a message from Theme Days, a new concept in senior activities and music.
Ooh.
Hi, Dan here. We are taking senior activities and music performance to a whole new level. As a senior myself, I remember all the great songs we grew up with. We're going to perform them online for you twice monthly with audience creative input based upon a different theme each month and activities that will dazzle you to go along with that theme. The price will surprise you. We know you're going to love it, and we look forward to having you with us. We are back. So, Susan, tell me about anything that you felt was significant in getting your residents involved. I'm assuming that sometimes you had to talk people into coming out of their rooms and going down to hear music. How did you do that? Just out of curiosity.
Consistency and having a good calendar, reminding residents of what was happening in the day. Trying to think of what else I did.
What do you think is the best way to get them interested in coming to hear music? What kinds of things would you say to them to kind of
Well,
whet their appetite?
first off, I think being consistent was the number one thing, having a very full calendar of great events throughout the day. They didn't have to choose every single one of them, but there was enough that would pique at least the majority's interest in a few of them daily, and music being the absolute number one. So consistency, reminders, really good entertainers coming in. It You know what? And on any given day, one person that would go all the time, every once in a while, just it was a no, but I often would find them sneaking down in the middle of the concert because, like we always, none of us want to miss out on anything. And it's the same thing with the residents. So I think it's having a real full calendar, a very balanced calendar, and not expecting that they're going to, I wouldn't want to do everything. And oh, a big one is understanding the time, knowing the residents and knowing when residents are resting. You need to know your residents and you need to know how your facility works, what are the best times, making sure you're booking in those times, and being consistent. It really was all about the reminders and the consistency of the programming.
Now, that's interesting. One thing I've noticed is that some residences have unlimited budgets and can get any kind of entertainment they want, but some are very limited
Mhm.
and can't really afford live entertainment at all.
Sure.
Even though the activity director wants desperately to do that, they'll cut where they need to cut. And sometimes, unfortunately, it'll be the music.
In my opinion, I disagree. If there was anything that I would cut, the entertainment music would have been my last thing, my absolute last thing. But
Like,
I had a great budget. I worked for a great facility where if I went to my director and said, "You know what? Like when you came to Valley and you brought the Broadway the two Broadway, the woman, I don't remember their names. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
the singers that I brought with me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I had to
Yep.
double up. I just, in my morning meeting with my executive director and the rest of the directors, I just pitched it and I said, this is really important.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, when you have a great relationship with your other directors, I know budgets are
That's
budgets,
key.
but we figured out, my director would say, you know what, Susan, last month you were under budget. So we're going to take what you didn't spend and we're going to move that forward. It was just communication, but
Yeah,
it
that's important.
definitely was the last thing that I would ever cut from, even during COVID. I
Yeah.
figured out how to
Particularly
stream.
during COVID.
Yeah, I learned how to stream. It was brand new for me. I knew how to stream, I knew how to Zoom, all those things, but it was new as an activity. But I also found how, and even a virtual concert, how incredible those are. How incredible. We are all virtually looking at things on social media and on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. We live in a digital age.
And
And
COVID actually is to thank for that.
that's right. So it doesn't matter. What matters is that you bring a full, robust calendar to these residents. And yeah, and that's pretty much how I did it.
Yeah, and you did it well. You
Thank
did
you.
it well. I observe all the different activity directors, and you did it very well.
Well,
You're
thank
very
you.
personable, and you did a great job there. You really did. What would be one practical takeaway for activity directors who are listening to what we're saying?
I think, first off, an activities director or an activities staff, we're always looking at it as, oh my gosh, it's just so much fun. And it is. But don't ever forget that I see and I know how hard the job is, but that each and every one of you that are doing it and you show up every day and you continue to seek out programs and you seek out maybe different ways of doing it, that I see you and
Yeah.
I promise you your residents see you, because it's a field of making people happy. And that's impossible. It's an impossibility to make everyone happy all the time. One of my stock phrases, and I always used it with the most kind and loving energy. Every once in a while, I'd have someone complain about something, and I would just simply say, you know what? I can't make everyone happy all the time, but if I make some of you happy today, then I'm going to go home and I'm going to feel really good. So if I didn't today make you just jump for joy, I hope tomorrow that I do. Give yourself a break and also know that sometimes you're doing an impossible job, and that I know I see you and I understand not only how amazing the job is, but also how hard it is. And yeah,
I know activities directors with everything they have to do, putting activities together and scheduling and working on all the logistical and practical issues that you deal with. It's got to be really hard to find time to actually spend with the residents. I would think it's very important for an activities director to really bond with the residents and to really get to know them. And there has to be time for that somewhere. So you've got to make the time somehow, but it seems like it must be a complicated task.
that's a great point, Dan. I tell you what, for me, the residents never got shortchanged. What did was me sitting in my office, answering emails, building my calendar, contacting new entertainers, cutting the checks, developing new programs. That's what would always take that. I always push that aside. I know if you're in activities, you're there for the residents. And so I tried to never, ever have a time where I was just not present. And there were times where I had to shut my door and I just had to do the clerical work.
But
Um,
you had help? Did you have an assistant?
I did at times. There were
But not
times.
always.
No, I went a full year without an assistant, and I'm trying to think at Valley. I don't know. There was probably 80 residents, more of a boutique feel, but
Yeah.
still, I had a memory care unit, and I had actually 2 memory care units, and I had an assisted living unit.
Oh,
And
so you worked both
I
of
worked
those?
I
They
worked
didn't have a separate
always.
activities director in memory
No,
care?
always. I was always the director for both.
Oh,
And at times, I was the director for 2 facilities. I was the director for Woodstock Terrace and Valley Terrace at the same time.
gee.
And but that's where, when we were able to open up after COVID and having people like Dan Alan Levine come in
Huh.
and, just wow our residents.
There's one resident at Valley where you worked. His name is Jim.
Yeah.
And every time I play there, he gets up in the middle. He said, "Everybody, I just want to take a moment and talk to you about how special it is when would." And he sent me this long email, of a profound email about what it means to them and how they feel about it. And that email was the switch for me that just made me realize this is something I want to keep doing.
And I think that was an email that he sent you basically after your first
It was after the first performance.
Valley
Yep.
Terrace.
Yep.
I remember
Remember
I
that?
remember that. Oh, I remember it clearly. I remember it clearly. Yeah.
I have that email on my website, my performance website. It was just, I mean, that's incredible. Jim and I have become friends. We've become friends. Maybe
Absolutely.
it started with that. It's fun for a performer to, let's face it, you're doing something really great when you perform at a senior residence. You're doing something great for the residents. But I don't want anybody to kid themselves. All performers want to be appreciated as well.
Absolutely. Well,
So I think
yes.
this is not that there are a whole lot of performers watching this, but one thing I would say to performers is this is not like playing at a concert, in a concert hall, or even in a bar or a club. It's different. Sometimes you won't get as much applause, for example. Entertainers love applause, and they love to hear a standing ovation in a theater where everybody gets up and they have to come back out for an opera. The applause lasts for about 10 seconds. And yeah, there may be there's one place where I play where, the people applaud like this, but the activity director goes, and I recognize that. So there are certain things you have to understand. Some of these people are not able to really show the enthusiasm that they feel.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very
but you
true.
still know you're appreciated. You're appreciated in a very different way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that wraps up episode 2 of Bingo Schmingo. Why you want to take a moment and give a little explanation for why we're calling this Bingo Schmingo?
Well, if you're an activities director or assistant or partner in crime, it's, what? I got asked a lot, do you just play bingo? And I am not, first off, I'm not offended. My residents loved bingo, that we did it maybe once every couple of weeks. And they loved it. And I loved it. We had so much fun. But activities is much more than bingo. And it's not to put bingo down, but it's just saying that's because you'll hear it, and activities directors hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, you play bingo. Sure. I'm going to do what my residents want to do, but no, we're much more than bingo.
Right.
And that's what Bingo Schmingo means.
There was an activities director who said to me after I had played maybe 3 or 4 times at this place, Dan, and I didn't even know about the whole bingo thing at the time. Person said to me, Dan, I want to tell you, you're more popular than bingo. And I went,
That's a huge
really? I'm more
compliment.
popular than bingo. No one's ever told me that before.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I have a joke for you. Can I tell it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can't. You can't. Go.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
So, why did the Scarecrow win an award? Don't you answer if you know it.
Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he won a straw poll.
No, he was outstanding in his field.
You're very good. Very excellent.
There's one more. I'm at that age where my back goes out more than I do.
Oh. Ouch. Yeah. It reminded me that I have a bad back. I wasn't even thinking about it. Now I'm thinking about it. I hope you'll tune in to our next podcast, episode 3. And
Who knows
remember
what
to
it's going to be about?
we will let you know. And be sure to check out Theme Daze, ThemeDaze. It may change your world. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Susan. And we'll see you all next time on Bingo Schmingo.